What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Debunked. I am Debunkness, and we are out here chopping down some trees behind our base because we are going to need this space for a project that we're going to start today. And I think it's time for us to have an automatic sorting system. That's right. We have a chest monster that's growing in there, and we are running out of room. We're not very organized, and I think it's high time we had a sorting system. So what I have decided is that we are going to kind of build off the back of our house here. I'm thinking we're going to come and we're going to take this stuff out, and if you remember, right over on the other side of here is where our chests are right now. So we're going to come out here, and then we're going to have a staircase that leads up, and then it's going to open up at some point into a pretty good sized room. And then we are going to have our sorting system along probably this back wall over here. That's what I'm thinking right now. That is subject to change, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. We're going to focus today on building some of this stuff out, and then we will expand this obviously as we need to. But the first thing that I want to do is I want to finish chopping down these trees so that we have plenty of room. And then what I want to do is I want to go look at our iron farm that we finished up last episode. If you guys haven't checked that out, please go do so. It's a pretty cool little iron farm, gets you a decent amount, so we'll go do that. And I actually kind of brought some iron back over here not long ago. I AFK'd over there for just a little while, so we're gonna go check that out. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into the building over here. We're gonna start by making a bunch of chests and hoppers and doing a little bit of redstone. So I am going to chop these trees down here, and I'll just do a little time lapse of that. What do you guys think about that? A little time lapse of some tree chopping? Sound good? All right, let's get going. Okay, we got our trees chopped down. I'm just going to let these kind of despawn here, and we'll come back and we'll check on this stuff here in just a minute or two. I've got plenty of saplings and sticks on me, and we'll probably pick up quite a few more. I think we've got quite a few in our chests in here, so let's go in here first, and let's have a little look at what I have brought back from over at our iron farm. I think I've got that in here. Yes. So, brought back some stacks of iron here. And, yeah, so that was from, that was probably about half of what's over there right now. And, we're going to go over there here in just a minute, and we're going to look at some things. And I've actually got a couple things I need to tell you guys about that, but we'll get to that in just a minute. So let's go back over here for just a second, and let's see how our stuff is doing. I'm going to pick up some of these saplings, and we want to make sure that we don't leave them all over here. I don't need a bunch. We get plenty, but I also don't want to leave a bunch either. So I think that's going to be all right. Did I not just... Hi? Hello? Did you not fall over here? Did I not see you? Okay, well... Sure. All right, let me pick this stick up and this sapling right here. Let's go in here and take a nap, and then I'm going to go over to our iron farm, and I will bring you guys back when I get over there. And we're back at the iron farm here. Before we go down and look at what's in the chest, I did want to point out a couple of things that I got wrong when we were building this. The first one was I made the assumption that this chunk right here was always going to be loaded. And if I hit F3 and G, that brings up our chunk boundary. So we are within this chunk. You can see we got a spawn there. I really kind of think that maybe this chunk is one of the ones that's loaded and not that one. My reason is if I go over to the other base area, this zombie right here stays loaded, but he disappears. And I was not getting any golems that were spawning while I was over there. So I don't think this is actually loaded. So if you guys are building one of these in your world, if you use the same seed, try building it in the next chunk over and see if you have better luck than I do. And we may actually make another one over here at some point just to see how we do. I have not decided on that yet, but let's go down here and let's see what things are looking like. We've got a little bit of iron down here still, and we're probably going to leave that there because I don't think we're going to need it. Yeah, so we've still got what, 2, 4, 6, and almost 6.5 stacks of iron. So not quite. I took over half of what we had there, but as you can see, we had what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We had about 12 stacks that I took over there. So that means that we had a total of about 18.5, maybe stacks. So that's a pretty good amount. That's not too bad. And that was from me just AFKing here for a few minutes while I was editing my last video, probably about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours worth. So pretty good turnout. Pretty good turnout. I'm happy with that. That will get us quite a bit of iron, and we are going to need a bunch for our next project here. So let's head back over to our base and let's get started building this sorting system. What do you say? Sound like a good idea? I think it sounds like a great idea. So I will bring you guys back once I get over there and I kind of get some things sorted. So I will see you shortly. All right, we are back over here at our base, and you can see I am just smelting up some smooth stone. We are going to use that to lay out some of our redstone. I like to make sure when I'm doing my redstone work that I have a block that I know has the redstone on it. So if I'm ever digging, I can kind of keep track of that. And so that's what that's going to be for. We will show you more on that just in a few minutes. But we are going to need a few components to get started. So let's start with the first thing we're going to need is some redstone. And I don't have any redstone up here, so I need to run downstairs and get some redstone. We are going to be making some redstone torches. We are also going to be making some repeaters, and we're going to be making some comparators. Now, if you've never worked with redstone in Minecraft and you don't have a clue what I just said, it's perfectly fine. I'll let you in on a little secret. I kind of don't really know a lot about redstone in Minecraft. Yep, there, I said it. I said it. But we're going to learn together. So we are going to need a bunch of this. I am going to go ahead and just grab about half. And that's pretty good because that's going to fill up my inventory. So we're going to go back up here. And on the way back, what I want to kind of discuss is what we are going to be doing here. How is this system going to work? Well, this system is going to allow us to put items into a chest. And then it's going to take those items and it's going to put them into their respective chests. It's going to organize it all for us. And we're going to tell it where things ought to go. So I'm going to get some stuff together and build an example of this so that you can see how it works. And then we're going to expand it. So let's start with the first thing that we need, and that is going to be redstone torches. We're going to need a bunch, and they're really simple to make. You just simply take sticks and redstone, and you get redstone torches. Now, what do these do? Redstone torches emit a redstone signal. We've not really talked much about what redstone is and does, so it is a good idea to, I think, start there. Now, you can see that redstone, when it is powered, it has this nice sparkly effect. If I remove this torch, that goes away. Now what we want to do is we want to hit F3 and we want to look at a little bit of information here to tell us what is going on. We want to know what power level this torch is emitting, or what level it gives this block here. Now, if you look over here, you follow my mouse, this targeted block over here, you have wire, east side, north, none, power is 15. So what that is telling us is that this block is getting 15 redstone power, then 14, 13, 12, 11, and so on. And this will run for a little while before that signal gets too weak to do anything. And there is a lot of stuff we can do with this. You see how the sparkles kind of dim and you get down and we have 0 here on all this stuff. So really we can go all the way to 1 here. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 blocks. There's no surprise there. So we can carry a redstone signal 15 blocks. I'm going to go over here and go Shreepy. Now that's important to know because there's certain things we can do with redstone that we're going to need to go more than 15 blocks. Well, how do we do that? Well, we do that by using a repeater. Now, how do we build a repeater? Well, I will show you, fine folks, how to build a repeater. Let me grab some of these, and I think we've got everything we need. I never can remember this recipe. So we are going to need this guy here, which is just 3 stone, 2 torches, and a piece of redstone. We're just going to make 1 for right now, just so I can show you guys what it does. And I have too much stuff in my inventory, as always. So I tell you what, I don't need all of this redstone on me right this second. Let me put in this chest a couple of these. And then I'm going to grab this chicken. And I think I've got chicken up here. Yes, I do. Okay, so repeaters. What does a repeater do? Well, it repeats the signal. And there's a few other little things that it can do, but that's the one we're concerned with. So if I come over here and you see this is at power 1, if I put this repeater down, well, look what it does. It repowers that, and I go over here and I've got 15 power. If I was to have this switch right here, we're going to talk about later. If I was to be making, say, a clock or a circuit, I can use this switch to delay. And I think that is a no tick delay. I'm sorry, a 1 tick delay. You can see that over here if you're looking at that. And then it goes up to 2 ticks, 3 ticks, and 4 ticks. And we can use that to do some pretty cool stuff here later on. Right now, we don't need to know that. So that is what a repeater does. Now we need to know what a comparator does. To get a comparator, let's go ahead and build one of those. I type in comparator here. You see I need my nether quartz. So I'm going to do a comparator. And I'm going to move my axe. Now what a comparator does is a comparator will look in a block and it will say, okay, based on this, I've got so many items in this chest. And it will emit a redstone signal based off of what it has in there. You see, I have a redstone signal of 2. This button here is subtract mode, which means that it is doing something different than the compare mode. That's something more detailed than what we're going to get into right now. But if I take stuff out of this chest, you see I've only got a power of 1. If I put stuff in this chest, and we'll just throw a few things in here, you see, and now I'm up to power of 3. So that can be pretty darn useful. And we're going to explore how we can use that stuff later. For right now, though, we are going to be using the comparators and the torches and the repeaters to do our build here. So we also need to talk more about hoppers. And I think I've got 1 hopper on me. That should be enough. Let's start with that. What we can do with a hopper is we can control whether or not it puts something into this chest. You see, if I go ahead and I throw this stuff in this chest, it's just going to start emptying it in there. What happens if I give that a redstone signal though? Well, it's not doing anything. And that's going to come in really, really handy for what we're going to do in our storage system. What we are going to be able to do is we're going to be able to tell this, hey, I'm going to lock you. And that's what this is called, locking. You're locking your hopper. I'm going to lock you, and then you're only going to be able to do what I want you to. So keep that in mind. And then I'm going to let this go ahead and drain back in there. And we're going to pick up a few of these blocks, and we're going to go over here and we're going to get started building. So let me get this stuff, and I will see you guys outside in just a couple of seconds. All right, we've got some of our stuff together here, and I don't have everything, but I've got enough to kind of get started and show you guys how this is going to work. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build an example of this over, I think we're going to do it over here. And I think this is the correct level that I want to be at. I want to be here, so up 1, 2, and up 3. Actually, I think I do want to build it over here because I think we're going to have to end up raising that section over there a little bit more to do what I want. So let's start over here, and I will start building right here just to give you guys an example of what's going to happen. So here is where we want to start by putting down, I want to keep this and I don't really need my sword. So I need to put down a couple of blocks here, and then I'll explain kind of what's happening. I think we need to go there, and this may actually need to go down one more block. So for right now though, this will work because then you guys will be able to kind of see what's going on. So I want to come out here, and I want to go up one, and actually I take that back. I want to put a chest down right here. And then we're going to come and we're going to put a hopper down. And remember, we know that hoppers are going to feed in items into the chest that we tell them to. So if you guys haven't picked up yet, and I don't know if I've said it, so I apologize if I haven't, you probably have noticed that I like to shift and then I click to place these hoppers. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because if I just go here and I first of all try and click, it's just going to open that chest. But if I shift, it will allow me to say, I'm pointing right here. This is what I want you to insert into. And you can go down here and you can see how this little tail comes and it points into there. So if we put items in there, this is the chest it's going to go into. Now, to get this hopper to lock so that it does not put anything in there, we're going to need to have a redstone torch right there. That redstone torch is putting the redstone signal into this block, and that is locking this hopper. So if I right click into here and I throw cobble, you see that that cobble is not going into this chest, and that's what we want. So the next thing that we're going to need to do is we are going to need to put down a repeater right here. Now that repeater is going to repeat the signal, and it's going to say, hey, I want to make sure this is a nice strong signal going into this block so that we don't have any issues whatsoever. And it's going to do a couple other things too. I think it isolates that signal. So let me pull this chest out because we're not going to need that right now. And then what we would need to do is we need to come up here and we need to have something up here that says we need to compare a signal. So I'm going to put a comparator down right here. It needs to be facing away from this hopper. And we need to put another hopper on top of it, but that hopper needs to be facing this block right here. This block is going to get a signal from here, and that is how we are going to get our signal for running our item sorter. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to hook all this stuff up and give it redstone. So to do that, we come up here and we put redstone down right here, and right here. And that is going to send this signal all the way down to right here. Okay, so we've got our hopper down, and what we have done is we have created a little system here that is going to do some sorting. So a little bit more on hoppers. Hoppers will try and push into the inventory that this tail's facing. We already know that because we've used that before. But what happens if there's nothing here is if there's nothing in this inventory or nothing it can push items into, it says, I'm going to go straight down. What this comparator is doing that I just broke is this comparator is saying, I'm looking at what's in this inventory right here, that top hopper, and it's saying, if there's something in there, depending on how many items are there, I'm going to emit a signal. That signal is going to travel along here to this block. This block is going to be powered by the redstone. It's going to go into this repeater. Now this repeater, as we learned earlier, will take this signal no matter how strong or how weak it is, and it says, boom, you're going back to full strength, which powers this block. And if we power this block with redstone signal, that turns this torch off. So it kind of does the opposite. You see their items are not glowing right now. That means they're off. If they were to be glowing, this would turn off. And a way we can kind of illustrate that is, see if I put a block down there, this block is being powered by this redstone torch. So if I put that there, that's going to turn that one off. If I was to put another one above it, it would turn it on. It alternates. So the next thing to do to learn how this is working is we go in here and we take 64 items and I fill up this inventory. Now you can see that this torch is turned off now. What's happening is, and it turned back on, this comparator is saying, hey, this is full. I've got a certain number of items. So I am emitting a redstone signal. And once it gets strong enough that it can reach all the way down to this repeater then picks up the signal and says, boom, you need to turn off. I've got too much in here. You need to be able to push it into the inventory below. Otherwise, I'm going to overflow. And if we look in here, we'll notice that not all these blocks went down. If we look in here, we'll notice we have one item left, because what happened is these items started falling in, and at some point, this one said, hey, I don't have too much in my inventory. So this signal got broken, and this said, nope, we're going to turn you back on, power this block, and bam, this one is locked. So it locked and said, nope, we're going to leave a smooth stone in here. And we look in here and we got 14 smooth stone. So what is happening there is we have effectively created the start of a filtering system. So I'm going to go in here and sleep, and we're going to need to grab another item to really make this work. And we're going to talk about using the anvil to rename some items. And we hinted at this, I believe it was last episode, when I told you that you could rename various items. So we're going to play with that here in just a moment after I sleep. All right, we've taken a nap and I'm heading over here to our chickens, and you might be thinking, what the heck does chickens have to do with item sorters? Well, that is a fine looking question that you have asked. Let me show you what we're going to do with these eggs. If you rename an item, it does not have the same tag as another item. You see that this shows up as Minecraft egg. I go up here to my anvil, and we're going to rename this whole stack of eggs to Eggtastic, just because that's different than the other name. And you can see when I hover over here, I have NBT:2 tags. So it's still a Minecraft egg, but I have renamed it. Well, that's going to really come in handy while we're doing our sorting system, because we want to have an item in our sorting system that is not going to get filtered through. It's never going to come through these hoppers. And if I use cobble or smooth stone or anything like that, I'm going to have this stuff that's going to come into my inventory. I'm going to be building and come along and throw things in my chest, and it's going to wind up going wherever this is. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, and the other thing that'll happen is, you see how this item down here changed? Once that hopper locks, it keeps that one dirt in there, and it's no longer the smooth stone that we had, you see? So we do not want that to happen. So if I pull these back out, these are named differently than these. So if I was to say, fill this up with eggs, and then I put in this cobblestone, you'll see what'll happen here in just a minute. You'll see that we are going to run all that stuff through here, and we are going to take advantage of that item being renamed. Now you see I've got 29 cobble that stays in here, and I've still got that one. Now if I was to go up here, I couldn't put in smooth stone or anything else, and I'm actually going to show you. If I was to take a chest and I come back up here and I put a chest down here instead, and I can put whatever I want to in there, none of that stuff, even the eggs, none of that is going anywhere. It's not coming down here because these eggs are named differently than these eggs. So what we've done is we have created a way to filter so that the only items that ever come into this chest are whatever we have in this slot right here. We will never have eggs that come through here. If I put these eggs in there, that may be a little different story, and we're just going to try that out, and yes, it is going to work. But you see how once more eggs come in here, this starts dropping more items, and there's a reason for that. So we want to be careful. You see how we got smooth stone that came in here now, and it's locked with smooth stone, and now that's saying that's what's going to come in here. So we do have to be careful that we do not put the wrong item in here. So let's go ahead and let's take all this stuff back out, and we're going to do a little bit more explaining on how this all really is working. Make sure I got everything cleaned out here. So the last thing that we need to talk about with this item filter system is the fact that you are going to have a certain number of items that are going to stay in your inventory. As you can see here, I have thrown in, I've got 29 items right here in this hopper, and this is the 29 items, and then 30, 31, 32, 33. And then I've got one here. So really I've got 34 items between here, but we're more concerned with the smooth stone. So I have 30 smooth stone that are left behind because of the way this system works. What's happening here is this hopper says there is a certain amount of stuff in my inventory, and it is strong enough to fill up this hopper, but it is not strong enough for me to emit a signal that is going to cause this signal chain to go through its paces. Again, if I was to add more of this smooth stone here, you see that one block was enough to trigger that and get another smooth stone here. And if I was to do this here, again, that is enough blocks that it triggers the system. So I'm just going to take a few of these out so we can watch. You can see I always maintain it can never have more than 30 here because of these eggs. If I was to use a block that stacked to 64 here instead of these eggs, it would actually, I believe, keep more items in here than it does now. I believe it would go up to 42 items total. So this lets us keep less items tied up in our hoppers and more items in our chests. That's just something to kind of keep in mind. And there's other videos out there on YouTube that are going to do a lot better job of explaining this than I have. But there you have it. That is our design for right now. So what we can do here is we can actually kind of expand this a little bit more. So I'm going to move this up here, and I'm going to need my axe, and I'm going to show you kind of how we're going to design this. So we are going to have a chest right there, and whoops, not there, right here. And we actually will have chests stacked in like that. So we will be able to feed items through inventory up here. It's not going to be a chest, but this is just to kind of show you. I need to go sleep. Do I have a bed? Yes, let me sleep and then I'll finish explaining this to you. Okay, so here's what I've got built up, and this is just a small example of what we're going to do. And we're going to have this chest up here as our input, and don't worry guys, this will actually all be kind of down. Really, it's going to be where this is going to be flush with this block, so this is going to be a lot easier to get into. And I do have a design that I'm working on that's going to be a lot different. Well, we got some pillagers over there that are maybe wanting to go have some fun. And I think we better take care of them because we've got some villagers over there and I don't think they can get to them, but I do not want to take a chance. So let's go have a little bit of fun with these guys and then we can talk a little bit about them after I get done showing them what's up. And it's kind of fun. You can kind of use one of them as bait and they'll start shooting each other. And these crossbows pack a punch. And I'm gonna need to eat here pretty soon. And I actually try and get this guy to get shot by the other guys because if we kill him, we are gonna get a bad omen, which will actually cause another raid to happen. You can see that little icon I've got up in the corner. So we need to get rid of that, and to do that we are going to need to get a bucket and we're going to need some milk, and thankfully I've got a bucket on me. Let me get rid of these seeds and I'm going to move these redstone torches and I'm going to eat real fast, and then we're going to go over here and we are going to get a bucket of milk. Now, what those guys do is they do raids every now and again on villages and villagers. So because we've got all those guys over here, they're all safe, but we don't want to have a raid right now. That's something we're going to talk about in a future episode, some things that we can get from defeating those guys. So if you notice in here, I have this thing going on here. I have this bad omen and it's not showing up for me right now. I'm not sure why. And I don't know if I take this off. There we go. If I take that off, you see I've got bad omen, but there is no timer. To get rid of that, right click on a cow to get some milk and drink the milk, and that goes away. We are good to go. Now, had I gone over here by the villagers with that on, I would have triggered a raid, and that is bad news bears, boys and girls. So let's go back over here and finish up our sorting system stuff here. I can actually tell this what I want to sort. So in this first one, I'm going to say I want to put smooth stone in here. And then in this second one, I want dirt to go in that chest. And then in this third one, I think I want regular eggs. And actually, I'm not going to use that one because that may not actually do. I'm going to do cobblestone. I don't think I've got cobble anywhere in here already. Nope. Okay, so if I throw those items in there, I've got smooth stone, dirt, and cobble. Watch what happens here. And I'm only going to do a stack of each. So I'll do the dirt and I'll do the smooth stone. This is going to pull items from this chest, and this hopper is going to take them and it's going to go here. Now it's going to say, okay, well, before I go here, I want to go and see if there's anything in this inventory that can go down there. Well, it knows I can only have smooth stone there. And then over here it says, okay, dirt, and then here is cobble. Well, we have already said, well, I only want to let cobble go through here. So if I look in this chest, I had an egg that went in there, just a regular egg, not another one. I've got cobblestone here, and then I've got dirt that's coming in here. And here in a minute or two, once we get to the point where we are pulling this smooth stone, we should have smooth stone that shows up in here if we did this right. And we're not getting anything yet. Okay, there we go. Smooth stone is starting to fill up in there. We should have, there we go. All right, so now it's coming through. So now we can put whatever we want to in this chest, and anything that will not go into these inventories is going to wind up over here. So if I was to put in, say, regular eggs and torches and apples and say this ominous banner, none of that's going to wind up in these chests. It's all going to actually go right here. So we now have a sorting system with overflow, and we can expand this as much as we want. We can have this go as far as we want in this room, in this area, and we can have this overflow be as much as we want to. Now, my idea is I probably am going to have this set up where we have at least a double chest here, if not a couple of other chests, so that way we can keep any items that would not go in this main system. It can get sorted out over here. And we will probably have a system where this chest actually gets moved down over here, and we're going to take advantage of maybe some droppers and dispensers and a bubble elevator to get things pushed up and into this first hopper to get started. But for right now, I want to stick with a simple system, and I want to do a little bit of building here and get this thing put together. So that is not going to happen in this episode. We are actually nearing the end of our time. So I'm going to wrap things up here before sunset, and I'm going to go have a nice shreepy. But that's what we're going to do here. We're going to build in a sorting system, and that's going to wrap things up for this episode. Stay tuned for next episode where I do some building time lapse and things like that to get this put together. But let me know down in the comments what you guys would like to see, what kind of other contraptions we can build with redstone. I've got some ideas for some farms, and I've got some ideas for some other cool little things, but let me know down in the comments. And I've been Debunkedness. You guys have been awesome, and I will see you in the next episode.